Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is all about second chances, and you know what they say, everyone needs a second chance, right? Well, I know for a fact that the PSVR2 game that I'm gonna talk to you about in this video desperately needs a second chance. What game am I talking about? In case you haven't figured it out already from the video or the thumbnail, I'm talking about PlayStation's first-party PvP tactical shooter, Firewall Ultra. Now before you ask me to shut the f*** up in the comments, allow me to elaborate, okay? So first of all, let me start by saying that I'm a huge Firewall Ultra fan. I don't play it every day like some people do, so I can't say I'm Firewall Ultra's #1 fan, but I do play it whenever I have the chance. And it just happens that in the last 2 months or so, due to the nature of what I do here on YouTube, always trying to cover the latest games and whatnot, I really didn't have the chance to play it at all, and I kinda forgot that it even exists. That is until I read Outlander's comment on one of my recent community posts, in which I was asking what is everyone playing during the weekend. And shout out to Outlander, by the way, he's a huge Firewall Ultra fan. So I was like, yeah, Firewall Ultra, I still have that installed on my PS5, and I haven't played it for a long time. I should play a couple of rounds right now, and I did. The first thing that surprised me is that I immediately got matched. Like literally in under 1 minute from starting the game, I was already playing my first round. That was surprising to me because I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was going to wait for a couple of minutes at least, but lo and behold, here I am with these guys which I'm very familiar with their names, and how can I not be when these are the same dudes who play this game literally every day? I know that because I played with/against them pretty much every time I launched Firewall Ultra. And that's the thing about Firewall Ultra's community. It's not big, far from it, but it's certainly one of the most passionate communities you will ever find, and not just in VR, I'm talking about gaming in general. To them, PSVR2 is simply a Firewall Ultra headset. That's it, nothing less, nothing more. It's also worth mentioning that you won't find any children playing Firewall Ultra. Everyone here is mature enough, so rest assured. Unlike Breachers, for example, no one here is gonna tell you all about how he f***ed your mom. So I started playing, and the first thing I noticed is that the game looks even better than I remember. I mean, the game has always been a showcase when it comes to graphical presentation, but somehow it genuinely looked noticeably better than the last time I played it. And perhaps that comes down to Sony fixing the reprojection. I don't know, I'm really not sure about this one. I'm saying reprojection because it was my first time ever playing Firewall Ultra with smooth turning enabled, without experiencing any motion sickness whatsoever. Usually it takes about 3 seconds for me to start feeling sick, and this happens with every PSVR2 game that uses reprojection, by the way, not just Firewall Ultra. This time it didn't happen though, and I was able to play the game for almost an hour without any issues. So I can't tell if Sony has enhanced PSVR2's reprojection on a system level to make it more tolerable to people like me, or if it's simply because I have finally built my VR legs, or maybe it's because Sony's engineers for some reason decided to make Firewall Ultra look even better. I have no idea. All I know is that Firewall Ultra today looks better than it was 2 months ago. I don't know how this is possible, but that's just how it is, at least to my eyes. The second thing that I noticed shortly after the first round started, or should I say the second thing that I was reminded of, is that, hot damn, this game is awesome. The music, the map design, the gunplay, the haptics, the adaptive triggers, the realistic tactical aspect, and those high quality shadows and light effects, it's just a great experience, a complete package. And I know, ADS, eye tracking, button press reloading, and button press for interactions such as opening doors, I know all of that, but I just don't care. Like seriously, all of these quote unquote negative points, they just don't ruin the game for me. They don't matter. I'm used to all of it, and honestly, I like most of it. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but just hear me out. I tracked ADS. People make it seem like that's the only way you can aim in this game. That's not true. You can hold your gun and aim just like you do in any other VR shooter. You can play this game without even using ADS. I personally don't use ADS, and like 90% of the time, I rarely use it, but when I do, it's mostly when I'm standing still and my enemy is far, far away, and I know exactly where he is. So in that situation, I know that using ADS is my best bet to be super accurate with my aim. So to me, ADS is a feature, not a problem. Eye tracking for swapping weapons, I don't use that. I press the circle button instead. There's an option in the settings for that, so this is also not a problem. Eye tracking for throwables. Now this is a tricky one, and I'm kinda torn on it. I like it when I'm trying to throw a grenade from a longer distance. In this instance, it's definitely more accurate than throwing it with my hand, but I also hate it when it's from a shorter distance. In that case, it's practically useless because it takes so much time. So I can understand some people's frustration with this specific gameplay mechanic. Button press reloading. Now obviously it would have been so much better to offer manual reloading as an option, and it's baffling to me that it wasn't the case, but again, to me it doesn't matter. I got used to it, and in Firewall Ultra specifically, I like it. You see, I want to keep my focus entirely on the environment and on the enemy movement, and reloading with a single button press allows me to do just that. Again, I would have loved a manual reloading option. I love manual reloading, especially in single player story-driven games, but in a game like this, I can live just fine without it. Same for interactions and opening and closing doors and whatnot. Of course we should be able to do all of that like we do in most VR games. Of course we should. But it still doesn't break the game for me. To put it simply, Firewall Ultra is not a VREF shooter, but it's a super fun shooter. It's not about the most immersive VR mechanics ever, it's not about manual reloading, it's not about throwing your grenades manually, it's not about opening and closing doors manually, but it's about communicating with your teammates, planning your next move together, being strategic about it, shooting your enemies, feeling good while you do so, thanks to the haptics and triggers, enjoying the awesome music that keeps you in the mood from start to finish, enjoying the brilliant maps that have such an amazing design, and enjoying the high fidelity and the realistic art style of the game, which in my opinion makes it one of the top 10 best looking PSVR2 games to date. I know that a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and that's okay, as long as you keep it civil. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And luckily for us, there is no shortage of good multiplayer shooters on PSVR2. You have Breachers, Pavlov, Elvo, soon we're gonna have Ghosts of Tabor, Tier 1 Direct Action, so things are looking good in terms of first-person multiplayer shooters on PSVR2. But as of today, I think Firewall Ultra is easily the best tactical shooter on the platform, not the best in terms of VR mechanics, certainly not, but when it comes to the tactical aspect, the amount of fun that you will have while playing this game, the overall gaming experience and the whole package, it's still the best. And I think that every PSVR2 owner should forget about everything he saw or read online and just give this game a second chance, because I really think it deserves it. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this video guys. If you enjoyed it, if you found it informative, and for more PSVR2 news, reviews and discussions, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, and turn on the notifications as well. If you want to be alerted in advance of our upcoming giveaways, have early access to our ad-free and uncensored content, and if you want to gain access to some exclusive content, then consider joining us on Patreon. Let me know in the comments if you have played Firewall Ultra or not, and I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, take care.